and this is one of the biggest reasons to do map voting, by the way, is to like see which maps people actually like.
Yeah.
You know, like
same thing with the bands, really.
Yeah, because up until now with maps, we've really just relied entirely on community feedback about like trying to listen.
Like people screaming and ranting about glass and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's this crazy people that hate glass way more than you'd think. No, I agree. The glass sucks.
Is that good? All right, boys. Let's hold on to our cheeks. We're going. Hey, I'm in this. This is pretty surreal when I saw it for the first time.
I have goosebumps.
Holy! The glorious hunt with the Falcons finally comes to an end. The 2024 World Champion. No more glass!
Overwatch 2 Classic!
We got the finals!
You should try my meatballs.
Famous. There's somebody new there. All right, boys.
Welcome to the Overwatch 2
look how cool he looks.
Spotlight. We've always strived to be the best competitive, team-based hero shooter. This past year alone, we made huge updates to our competitive systems, including matchmaking, balance updates, roll queue
Volume still
times,
good?
and new features, all in
Should try
service
up or
of
down, good?
constantly improving and evolving this game. To continue in that goal, we aim to innovate by creating new experiences for the more than 100 million players that have joined us since we launched in 2016.
Nice.
New experiences, new metas, new modes, new events, new heroes, just
Dookie
new
fans, so.
ways to have fun. And 2025 is going to be another big year for us.
Banger.
Not only are we expanding this brilliant global community with a return to China in Season 15, but the overall key focus for us this year is how we can evolve what it means to play an Overwatch game. There's so many things coming to Overwatch 2 this year that we can't even fit it all into this spotlight. So, over the next 30 to 40 minutes, we're really excited to show you many of the things, but definitely not all, that we are planning for the first half of this year. First up, the biggest change since Overwatch launched, your favorite heroes are about to get a whole lot more heroic with perks. Perks are here to completely redefine your strategy and how you play your favorite heroes. Think of them as hero-specific bonuses that level up your gameplay and not just your hero. This means you can customize how you play in a match like never before. It's like giving your favorite heroes a little extra oomph. Overwatch 2 is about to evolve in a way you've never seen before. After that, we'll go into how we're starting the 2025 competitive year with a full reset and new competitive rewards, including the new competitive weapon when Season 15 launches. We will also showcase some new mythic skins, game modes, and of course,
I know basically nothing about the cosmetics.
Upcoming heroes. Plus, some improvements to how you are rewarded for your playtime, including the return of a system from Overwatch 1 that we've received a ton of requests for.
Don't worry, we're gonna break all this down in a little bit.
Keep that feedback coming.
Hang tight.
We'll also share what's going on with esports, including how it's expanding with the reintroduction of Overwatch into China. Of course, some info on Overwatch Classic, as well as 6v6, and hopefully a few surprises mixed in as well. We know what this universe means to all of you, and our team is driven by the idea of working together with all of you in this wonderful community. Developing the best version of this universe for years and years to come is what truly matters. We're so thankful that you are all on this journey with us. And there's so much to tell you about that you're gonna wanna stick around.
It is time to celebrate the glory of battle, the competition, determination, and the boom! What a shot! Again! Finally, a worthy title!
Forget how soon that season starts. It's like right on the corner. They're doing the rank reset to shift things more towards, I think they talked about it in GM being a little bit more accessible because it's way too hard right now.
It is the climb!
Yo, star weapons. That's pretty cool.
Own one of these
That's gonna be
weapons.
more globally
It is
useful and more globally
Just
attractive
like
and more
this.
characters, which is cool. I still hope they do stuff like silver weapons or diamond or whatever, which I'm sure they will at some point.
How could you not win
We'll talk
with
more
such
about
an
this in a little bit.
advantage?
Don't worry. Pretty much everything here we'll talk more in detail in.
Superior and
But for now, we'll just kind of enjoy.
my armored fingers are crossed. Yes!
I did not know this. What?
Continue!
What is it? The way loot boxes return? Gambling! Yes! Degenerate is back! Oh, classic goats meta. That's crazy. That's wild. Ooh, is that a Zen mythic? Didn't know this was either.
Energy flows through me.
That's actually sick. That's a beautiful one.
Warrior's greatest weapon.
Huge fan. You guys know me. Zen's probably my favorite or second favorite hero. So,
Be present in the
ooh.
moment.
Ooh, nice. Love it. Good one.
I will achieve my
Cool
vision.
skins.
My arrows fly true.
That's a really cool skin. Because, you know, Kiriko.
To win is great. To win in
Interesting
style
Moira skin.
is even greater. Such a masterful display. Play it again. I will rewatch this one a few more times.
Nice. Looks fun. The cosmetic stuff, the loot box and goats. That's cool. I didn't know that stuff. All right, hold on to your cheeks, yo. I assume this is gonna, yeah, it's gonna talk more in depth about it.
Time to talk about something big.
Alec?
Introducing perks. This is the most significant innovation to core gameplay since Overwatch launched in 2016. This is more than just an update. It's a radical shift in how you experience gameplay. Perks are upgrades to your hero's kit that unlock during the game. They provide an additional strategic layer, allowing you to alter your playstyle and adapt to situations. Throughout the match, you'll level up your hero 2 times, unlocking 1 minor perk and 1 major perk. The first time you level up, you'll get a choice between 2 minor perks. We positioned minor perks as lighter upgrades. They're like a little boost to warm you up, from cooldown reductions to small passives that keep things balanced but exciting. Once you hit your major perk level, you'll get to choose between 2 powerful upgrades. Letting you
Don't worry, again, we'll
fine-tune your
talk about this.
playstyle for the rest of the match. Major perks are gameplay-shifting additions to your hero's kit, changing your core loop and redefining what your hero is capable of. Let's look at an example now with Orisa. When you level
Of all
up
the
Orisa to
heroes to
level 2,
choose.
your minor perk choice will be between heat reduction on your primary fire or the ability to briefly tank burst damage with Fortify. Are you facing down a Junkrat and want to be able to survive his tire? The upgrade to Fortify might be a great choice. The fun really gets going when you get to your major perk at level 3, though. Here, Orisa gets the choice between a higher impact energy javelin or swapping out her javelin spin for a protective barrier. Here's another example of what you can expect
I can't
with
believe they
major
used
perks
Orisa.
with Torbjorn. For Torb's major perk
That is pretty
options,
gutsy.
you get to choose between 2 wild upgrades for your turret. The first perk option is allowing you to upgrade your turret to level 3 when activating Overload, drastically shifting your turret's threat level as it rips through enemies. The second perk option is if you're feeling a little cheeky, upgrading your turret to now stick on walls.
I freaking love that
With this
so much.
added
I
flexibility,
actually love that so much.
Torrent can take different angles and even surprise opponents with sneaky turret placement. Finally, let's round
do
it
like
out
that.
with Ana. Ana's first major perk choice upgrades her sharpshooting capabilities, allowing her to headshot enemies. Be careful, Widowmaker. You might lose this sniper duel.
Then, if you're playing Ana and having a hard time getting dove on, you might want Ana's second major perk option. Give yourself Nano Boost when it's activated on an ally. Now that's a way to turn a fight. When designing perks, we wanted to expand and elevate what your heroes are capable of. We were looking for a system
Hang tight, we'll
that we
talk
could
about
layer
it, don't
on
worry.
top of your normal Overwatch gameplay and offer choice from match to match.
Trust, we'll talk about it.
We plan on adjusting perks on a regular cadence with bigger system refreshes happening in the middle of the year. Every choice you make with perks will impact the battlefield, offering new opportunities to outplay enemies and support your team. You'll get to experience the next era of Overwatch 2 when Season 15 launches.
So there's a lot to break down there about how the system works and power creep and choices and
It's
no.
awesome
But trust
to
me,
see the
we'll talk about it
passion
in a
and
little bit.
dedication this community
We'll
brings
talk
to the
about it.
game every day. Honestly, it's what keeps us hyped to bring you more. Today, we're so happy to share some exciting new features
Gavin
from
dressed
the
up.
2025 competitive year begins during Season 15, a season that will shake things up by making the game more strategic and further improving our competitive systems. Last year during Season 9, we introduced a major rework to our competitive system, as well as the addition of new hero passives that refresh the core gameplay of Overwatch. As we enter the first season of 2025, this is the perfect chance for the team to shake things up once again. For such a big season,
Lube.
it just feels logical to start with a big bang, our galactic weapons. In response to your feedback about competitive rewards, we worked hard to make this year's weapon variant out of this world. We developed new tech to support applying this type of complex material to weapons. We want you to feel like you have the power of the stars in the palm of your hand.
Chilling with Gavin recently.
Hey, we're also making climbing the ladder even more charming.
Literally talking about
At
nothing but
Platinum
board
and above,
games.
you'll now get exclusive weapon charms alongside the existing titles.
Nice.
We'll start tracking your rank for this during Season 15 and hand out these
Let's
rewards
go.
for
I
the
didn't know
first
about this.
time
This
in
is
Season
sick.
16. Now you'll be flexing your rank in any
Sick.
mode by rocking these battle-ready cosmetics with pride.
They need this
We're
stuff.
also
This is
excited
perfect.
to report that we're bringing
Well
rank
done.
icons
Actually good use of the
back
terms.
to the hero portraits while you're in competitive play.
Rank
We'd
icons
like
are
to do
back!
more of this sort of thing in the future, but for now, this will give players that want to show off their
Let's
skill
go!
by sharing their gameplay an easier way to do that. Now,
Look at that,
Season 15's
boys.
rank reset.
Look at
We've
that.
tuned our
That's so
ranks
cool.
again,
It's
and
back.
we're confident you can reach new heights that show off your true
Yes.
skill, whether you've been away for a while or you've been grinding up until the last minute in some questionable end-of-season matches. Most importantly, we think these soft
That's
resets
sick,
work best
man.
when we're introducing big new features that change what it means to be skilled at the game. I'm happy to announce that hero bands are officially coming to the game. We know you've been asking for this feature, and we're looking forward to building our take on it.
Get Frit.
Don't worry, no pools or cats in pools are involved. We want a system that punches up at the strong or frustrating
I'll
heroes
talk about this, don't
without
worry.
punching down at weaker niche picks. We also want a system that's very fast, that gives you nuanced control over outcomes, and that we can tweak based on your feedback. As you've seen, we're building a lot of new features. And speaking of buildings, what if you had more control over which of our buildings you spend your time in? We're happy to announce that map voting will be coming to the game after hero bans.
Cool
Both
stuff.
hero bans and map voting are exclusive to competitive play. One of the other changes I'm particularly excited about is a quality of life update I've wanted to build since my first day on the job. When I joined the team, I was challenged to list the top 10 things I wanted to work on. Back then, we chose the ping system from that list, but today we're building my number
system's
one,
great.
and that's improved hero information. In a game about mastery like ours, equipping players with the knowledge they need to improve is one of the most useful services we can provide as developers. That's why we're adding detailed stats to the hero information screen that show damage, cooldowns, ranges,
more wiki.
and perks. Of course,
Very
Season
important
15
with
isn't
perks,
just
I
about
think.
competitive cosmetic updates. We're also tweaking stuff behind the scenes, think shop bundles and better ways to snag those jaw-dropping cosmetics. Season 15
I told
the
you
return
guys,
of loot
they're gonna
boxes.
cook.
You heard that right. Loot boxes are making a comeback. We're keeping it fun while being transparent about what's inside and the rate of various drops from opening each box. Oh, and guess what? They'll be available in the free
Somebody's
track of the
screaming.
Battle Pass.
You guys
And of
hear that?
course, they'll also be in the weekly rewards where you can get loot boxes
Weekly
for just
rewards.
playing. There are
Throwback,
plenty
boys.
of
Back
ways
to the
earn
arcade
them.
wins. You guys remember?
We're really excited for the changes we've made in bringing these back, and hope you are too.
All right, hold tight. It keeps coming. We're
I'm
still
really
going.
excited to join you today to speak about what you can expect from events this year. One of the biggest ways the team has been exploring new ways to play Overwatch 2 is through 6v6 tests. This is something players have been asking about since we launched Overwatch 2 with 5v5, and Aaron has written a few extensive blogs on why the team made this switch. Things like pick rates, tank queue times, match stalemates, matches going on too long, sometimes made Overwatch feel like more of a slog than the fun it should have been. We want to find the absolute best way to make 6v6 with those concerns in mind. These limited time events are our way to really test how 6v6 in Overwatch 2 could work in the most fun, compelling ways possible when trying to address the various issues it used to face. This was a really great experiment for us, and we thank everyone that took part, jumped into the matches, and shared your feedback. We're still sifting through all of the in-game data, along with the mountain of feedback the team received across social media, forums, emails, and carrier pigeons. So look for an update on some key learnings in the coming weeks. Moving forward, we're going to be doing more of these, and in Season 15, we're pleased to announce 6v6 is getting its own competitive queue. This will be an open queue, but with a max of 2 tanks per team. Not all of our events are just purely to experiment and to try and test out new features. We're
Good
also running
competitive
events because,
integrity
let's
for
be
the
honest, they're
testing.
simply fun. Obviously, we have to bring back the modes and events that everyone loves. In addition to the current return of Lunar New Year, we're bringing back April Fools. You'll hit the beach in Summer Games, and of course, face the horrors of Dr. Junkenstein this Halloween. Outside of those annual events, one of the most fun limited time modes we've worked on in a while has to be Overwatch Classic. This was a labor of love for those of us who have been immersed in this universe for almost 10 years. We started in November with the Overwatch 1 launch day patch. 21 heroes, original abilities, no hero limits or role locks. Then in January, we rolled out with the September 2017 Moth meta patch, introducing the original versions of Ana, Sombra,
This was more
Orisa,
fun
and
than the
Doomfist.
first one, as
But
broken
you
as
can't do
Doomfist
Overwatch
was.
Classic without the most notorious of Overwatch 1 periods. So coming in Season 15, we are bringing you Overwatch Classic GOATs. This was a ridiculously glorious time to play. You had 3 tanks and 3 supports dominating lineups. These won't be matches you'll go into thinking the key
Shut up,
headshot or
Tetris.
flanking play will make a difference. GOATs meta is a head-to-head battle, testing which team can be the most thoughtful and strategic in setting up the best combination of plays, the best use of dual
It's like glorious, like World War I trench warfare.
Communication will be key when jumping back to 2019
Nothing like
to see if you
gonorrhea
have
in
it
a
in you
hole
to
to make
be
you feel
the
good
GOAT.
about it. Love it. Dirt, sweat, sickness.
Today, we introduce an exciting new hero to our lineup. Meet Freya. Codenamed Windasher, she's the latest addition to Overwatch's roster, poised to help you elevate your game.
I think you
Freya
guys are gonna
hails
like
from
Freya.
the land of Denmark, where the winters are cold and apparently the bounty hunters are even colder. Freya was once Overwatch's most renowned
this what
search and
Jay
rescue
leaked?
operative, dedicated to saving lives. But when Overwatch disbanded, she put her skills towards a new purpose, bounty hunting. Now, she'll hunt down any target for the right price. Freya is a hero with a unique arsenal at her fingertips. Armed with an explosive crossbow and a cape that gives her serious airtime, Freya doesn't play by the rules. We think you'll love the new dynamic she brings to Overwatch. Whether you're the type to strategize, hit the ground running, or hover above it, she's got something for everyone. Test your foes with her explosive flare, or wrap them up like a gift with her bola. And if someone tries to flee, well, as Freya says, run or hide, it won't matter in the end. Freya's kit doesn't just aim to control the battlefield, it aims to own it. Unload a flurry of rapid-fire bolts with her rev draw crossbow to keep the pressure on your enemies. Slow it down with Take Aim to line up the perfect shot and fire a high-speed, explosive bolt that will turn your targets into fireworks.
It's really fun.
Quick dash in any direction to reload your explosive bolt and leave your enemies in the dust. Launch yourself sky high with an updraft of wind and catch those rooftop campers or get a bird's eye view before you strike. And finally, snag an enemy with a bola shot. Wrap them up and pull in their unlucky teammates for the ultimate combo play. For those of you who love a challenge, Freya is going to test your
Some
skills
weapon
like never
synergy
before.
there.
Recognized internally as being one of the highest skill heroes in the game, Freya's kit demands precision and a steady, long-range
She's
aim.
hard.
Whether you want to dominate the battlefield or just float on the breeze, she's going to be the right bounty hunter
And she's
to
pretty
hire.
dynamic.
Now that we've shown you Freya, you probably want to know who the Season 18 hero will be. I think it's fitting
Yeah,
to
no-
give you
no
a sneak
low-skill
peek
DPS
at Hero
heroes.
44. Codenamed Aqua, this Chinese water wielder has one of the most
Also
unique
really
ability
fun.
sets that we have ever developed. You'll learn more about him later this year. And before then, get ready for the Freya Hero
No
Trial
leaks.
coming later in Season 15.
No
Keep
leaks.
following the Overwatch 2 team on social media and our website. We'll release more hero comics and continue to share regular updates on balance changes for all of your favorite heroes.
Very unique as well. Very unique.
Season 16 is launching in April and is going to be another massive season. In addition to a new hero, theme, and some fun events, we have something extra special that has been in the works for a long time. Welcome to Stadium, the ultimate battleground for strategy,
you guys get ready for cooking
teamwork,
here. Get ready
and
for cooking.
hero evolution.
You're being warned.
Stadium is the biggest game mode we've made since Overwatch 1 was first released in 2016. TLDR, this mode is awesome. It's Overwatch gameplay like you've never seen before. Fast-paced rounds, nail-biting 5v5 matches, and a best-of-7 system designed to push every player's limits. This is the arena where you don't just outplay the enemy, you outthink and outbuild them too. Here's the twist. Mods. Each round, you'll earn coins based on how you and your team perform. Use these to unlock and customize abilities for
Check
your
that out,
hero.
boys.
Choose from mods that boost survivability, like extra armor, amplify attacks with shorter cooldowns, or even add game-changing abilities.
Just straight up deadlock.
Stadium is packed with transformative powers and strategic encounters that enhance the hero fantasy well beyond anything we've released. This also includes the option to choose how you play in either a first-person or an entirely new third-person perspective from which to see more of the battlefield and your modifications in action. To go into detail and really showcase what Stadium is all about, I'm thrilled to introduce Dylan Snyder and, of course, the one and only Dion Rogers.
What's up, Aaron?
Thank you so much, Aaron. Wow, this is crazy.
Can you believe we're in Watch Point Gibraltar?
Yes, let's talk strategy. Reaper flying, like literally flying, I'm serious, through the air to take down a pesky demon. Or Mercy enchanting a teammate to auto-res on death. The choice is totally yours, so build wisely.
That was
what works
so
as
well
an edge
done.
in one round might be the difference maker in the next. You'll be upgrading your hero until they're so powerful that Aaron has no choice but to make you the game director. You become a walking fortress by going all in on armor, or roast your enemy shields faster and more mercilessly than Dion roasts me every day for not knowing anything about obscure 1970s jazz. Because why not?
And visually, we've revamped everything from the ground up, creating a new user experience layout to make
Junkenstein's
navigating
Revenge
your mods simple and fun.
on crack.
The fresh layout and intuitive icons transform strategy into art, giving you the arsenal to power up your hero as you progress through intense matches. Incorporating an intricate mod system, each choice you make is a step towards strategic dominance. Early in the game, you'll invest in affordable mods that lay a solid foundation for your team, giving you an immediate but modest boost. As the match heats up, you'll unlock access to more expensive and oh-so-satisfying mods that pack a serious punch, turning the tide in your favor. Each power-up is complemented by incredible visual effects, dynamically interacting with your actions to maximize the awesome feel of impact and intensity.
It's not Rip Deadlock. It's different. We'll talk about it.
Your currency, so how and when you spend could be the key to victory. It's all about crafting the best version of your hero at the right moment.
In addition to mods you can buy, you'll also unlock even more powerful traits that won't cost you anything. Traits are meant to be defining aspects of your play expression, so we're making sure that they feel appropriately transformative.
I encourage you to pause and look at these later.
You may remember us teasing some of these in events like Trials of Sanctuary or Junkenstein's Laboratory. As Reinhardt, you can focus on improving your barrier, taking away the movement penalty while it's raised, and allowing him to activate it while charging. As Soldier 76, become a utility healer for your team while improving your biotic field by increasing its range, attaching it to yourself, and buffing the attack speed of allies that stand in its radius. Or as Kiriko, embrace your true nature as a dive DPS by improving your health and damage resistance while gaining the ability to teleport to allies and enemies.
With 7 rounds, Stadium features a variety of maps and game modes. There will be a mix of modified versions of existing maps, such as a quicker Hanaoka Clash round, as well as new push maps with final artwork to be unveiled in the coming months.
Stadium launches in Season 16.
So seeing Deadlock at home?
And we see it as more than just a new mode. It's a long-term evolution. Each season will bring updates, new heroes, and possibly even alternate modes, like Payload Race or Paintball. And hey, while this mode is already big, it's just the beginning of empowering you to build the best hero you can.
We'll be keeping a close eye on your feedback and continue to find ways to evolve this
Notice
mode
there's a limited
into
cast
the
here
biggest and
at the
best
start.
it could be.
We're planning to kick things off with 14 core heroes, carefully selected to ensure balance and competitive play, with more heroes being regularly added over time, which will allow you to keep working each season on what is the best hero build to help you win.
There will also be additional maps, modes, and features regularly added over time, keeping things fresh and competitive.
Stay tuned as we reveal more details in the coming months. Stadium isn't just a new way to play, it's a new way to dominate. Get ready to strategize, customize, and rise. Season 16 is just around the corner. See you there.
See you there.
So that's season after next. Yeah, it's very similar to like the MOBA-esque kind of thing, but there's a big emphasis on silly and fun.
Up, and I'm thrilled to brag about
It's
my
just
team's hard
crazy.
work.
Big,
Earlier
crazy
today, you saw a brief
foolishness.
glimpse of Season 15, but let's dive a bit deeper.
So
Our
if you
Season
like
15
Deadlock,
Mythic skin
you'll
is
probably
for
still play
Zenyatta.
Deadlock, but
Zenyatta will have heavenly
yeah.
visual effects and sound effects to
It's
complement
pretty
his
intense.
godly ascension.
Honestly,
Our concept
that
artist
skin is
jumped
great.
on this one. She
I
was
really
really
love this
inspired
skin.
by the
This skin
Golden
is
Dragon
gorgeous.
Kishu, and the team rallied to make sure that we brought her vision to life in a way that felt specific and authentic. Our 5th mythic weapon is for Widowmaker, coming out at Season 15 mid-cycle. We wanted something that truly embodied Widowmaker's hero fantasy, and our concept artist took that literally.
No!
I don't have favorites, but if I did, the theme for our Season 16 mythics is
We're
very
complaining.
near
No,
and dear
we
to
don't
my
want to
heart.
encourage Widowmaker
The team has been
players
waiting
anymore than we
forever
already
to
are.
put our spin
Yeah,
on the
usually,
beloved
so we might have to
Maho
cancel the
genre.
mythic weapon. Sorry.
I'm so excited to introduce
Yeah, sorry.
Doki Watch, which pits the heroes of heart against the hollow hearts. Doki Watch retains core elements of the magical girl aesthetic and blends them with the sleek technology of Overwatch. Our heroes' Magitech weapons are empowered by their animal familiars to fight
are
against
sick.
the hollow
These are
hearts
sick
and their
weapons.
looming threat of woe. Tiny sharks, a fox, a cat, and even mischievous bunnies are ready to fight by your side. They're cute, they're fierce, and they'll make your heart doki doki. When it was time to pick the leader of the Heroes of Heart, the choice was obvious. Mars' favorite daughter gets a splash of pink in her mythic skin.
Oh my gosh.
Yuna's radiance spreads hope wherever she goes, making her extremely powerful in
This
the
is
fight
funding.
against woe. Her skin features her magical shark companions, Deimos and Phobos, named for the moons of Mars. Personally, I'm partial to the pastel yellow Doki princess, but villain enthusiasts will love her.
No, we
correct
cannot get
people love
Doki Doki.
But
guys.
don't worry, Mercy Mains. I've got you covered. She's getting the Season 16 mythic weapon.
Oh
At mid-season,
my
the
gosh.
ridiculously cute Elios joins the fight. I'm not going to say much because I think the concept really speaks for itself. He's just a little guy.
Holy crap.
Since Overwatch 2 was
Holy
released,
crap.
players have been asking for a mythic for this hero. She's a little bit of extra work for my team specifically, but it was time to make it happen. Our
an
Season
infinite money
17 mythic
generator.
skin is for Diva. We hope she lives up
Oh
to your
no,
expectations.
another infinite money
For her
generator.
mythic, Diva will take on the spiritual
Oh my
aura of South
gosh.
Korea's national animal, the Siberian tiger. She'll have customizable hairstyles on the pilot, as well as a pink and an
Holy
Empire Red
crap,
colorway,
guys.
so you can style her however you want. Season
It's
17
just
will also
infinite
feature
money.
Reaper's mythic weapon, designed to capture the allure of corruption. We asked our concept artist to make something edgy, and he really did deliver. With distinct
Malga
weapons
nipple
for each
tassels,
hand,
the
they
mythic
reflect
weapon.
Reaper's duality, his descent from beloved Overwatch commander
Ooh.
to feared talent agent. Oh, and one last thing. While we aren't quite ready to reveal them yet, throughout the upcoming year, we have some very exciting collaborations. But there's one coming
Ooh.
in Season 15 that me and my girlies can give a slight reveal to.
Hello, we are the Seven. We're so excited to announce our second collaboration with Overwatch 2.
Oh,
There will be brand new in-game skins and cosmetics coming this March. We can't wait to reveal all the details, so stay tuned for more information. See you all in-game soon. Bye.
I give up. I give up. I know I'm beat. It's over. It's fine.
Hi gamers, this is Bailey from the Overwatch
I give
esports
up.
team. Something new is
I
always
give
coming to
up.
Overwatch, and Overwatch esports is no different.
Y'all
We've tweaked
win.
our competitive formats a bit to provide you all the things that you actually care about. More things to play in, more matches to watch, more coverage of your favorite players, drops to earn, and some awesome dynamic gameplay.
I talked with
through the
Bailey
addition
last night
of hero
actually
bands, which we've
about
never done
some
before.
implementation
We just
of
wrapped
some
up our
stuff.
inaugural 2024 season at DreamHack Stockholm this November, where Team
We talked more
Falcons
about
from
like the
OWCS
evolution of
Korea
where things are
took home the
going.
win.
So
We're
we'll see how it goes.
really excited for the future of OWCS to provide the most accessible competitive environment that we have ever had. Want to know though how the OWCS is getting even better in 2025? We're going from 2 to 3 stages and live events bringing you 3 events across the world to even more players. We're doubling the gameplay that we're
Oh, shit,
providing
where it's me,
and
so?
the number of broadcasts.
Yeah.
We're introducing
Inflate
Face
my
It Links to our
pectorals just a little
ecosystem and integrating it directly into OWCS, making it easier to follow and providing more chances to compete and have some fun with your friends. Additionally, we're adding a new tournament phase to the competition through a promotion relegation tournament, allowing more chances to qualify and new exciting stakes to
How
your
the heck do I do a
matches.
poll?
On top of that, we're introducing a team
poll.
partner program, bringing some iconic esports
No, I'm not
brands
back to coaching.
OWCS across
It's more
our different
consulting on
regions.
how they're doing bans.
We'll be supporting
I
a
gave
bunch of
initial
in-game
feedback for the
items
current round
that
of
you can
bans they have in
purchase
OWCS,
so you can rep your favorite
and
team,
we're still trying to
and
find out
the
how they
proceeds
can
go
evolve.
directly to support those teams and players.
Nice.
This year,
how
we are
we can like
also
evolve
welcoming
bans to
a
be a
few
better
new
viewer
regions to
experience and
OWCS.
also better for the
We
teams
know
as well,
how
because I think there's some
incredibly
room for
passionate
growth and
our
experimentation with the way
players
they're
in
doing it right now.
China and Australia are for esports. With the return of Overwatch 2 to China, we're excited to welcome those players to OWCS with their own dedicated region to compete in. And our players in Australia are going to be joining the Pacific sub-region in OWCS Asia. We've introduced rank-based divisions to face it and calling out heroes that just make matches more fair, competitive, and fun. The OWCS
Bans have been great in
2025
OWCS
season
though
is
right
kicking
now.
off
It's been
right
so much
now.
fun to watch.
Head to our channels or
It's a
website
shame that
to find the schedule
esports
so
is
you
like
don't miss
not
a
as
single
big
match.
in the community right
Then
now because
you
it's
can tune
actually
in
so
to
much
earn
more
some
fun to
awesome
watch.
viewership rewards, sharing your
If you
favorite
guys haven't
players
watched how
and teams,
bans have been
or
like the matches,
learn a
it's
thing or two about
really
your
fun.
favorite hero. We hope to see you there.
Sick, y'all. Man, this was so freaking much to talk about.
Getting to be a part of this amazing team of brilliant developers, artists, engineers, and more, as we've evolved Overwatch together with all of you, has been one of the highlights of my career. We are so excited about all that has been shown today, but we didn't even touch on so many more great updates coming your way. Throughout the rest of this year, we are going to roll out numerous quality of life changes, such as map voting, and as Gavin mentioned, hero bans. We also didn't even touch on what is one of the most impactful changes coming later this year, more map reworks. There will be reworks of both original Flashpoint maps, Suravasa, and New Junk City.
That's crazy,
We
actually.
also are working on major
I definitely think
reworks
there's some
to
room for
another
growth there.
batch of classic maps, so you have to stay tuned as we share those details. And
I
that's
think all the
not
map
even
reworks have been
all
good.
for maps. A new Atlantic Arcology map is
Oh.
also coming to the game.
Whoa.
And a new Tokyo map. We have so much planned to share with you throughout the year.
There's a
More
couple of things in
details,
Suravasa I'd change.
more
I'll
content,
talk about it later.
more ways to experience Overwatch. It is our goal to keep exploring and delivering new fun ways to play Overwatch than we've ever done before. I cannot wait to show you what this team has been working on. Thank you for the hours and hours of dedication you all give to this game. We are thrilled to keep working with you through feedback and engagement on growing what we do to improve Overwatch 2. I hope you all have a fantastic time when these changes start rolling out in just a few weeks with Season 15. Now let's go make a great game.
There's so much to talk about. Like, I can't even break it down. Like, we're gonna try to go through each detail and share with you what I can share. I believe we're gonna be showing some of the stuff in a little bit here. But in the meantime, I guess we can kind of go back and talk about it. I guess we can kind of just go down the list and I can share what I can here. Perk system, I think we're gonna be able to show that a little bit later. We'll go more in detail on that. There's definitely a set of parameters that I'm expecting from perks. I mean, it's the big one, right? My question, like, they've talked a lot about how they want to implement systems that increase the depth and skill ceiling of a lot of characters. And the question is what is the implementation of going to be like that? Like, is there going to be interesting skill choices? Is it going to be free value without really changing how you play the character? I think on the more cynical side, there's going to be a lot of like tweaks necessary for that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's put it that way. And I don't think it's going to change like the competitive integrity of the game. We're just going to have to see how it's implemented. They're taking risks, and we've known that that's going to be the case. And it's certainly, if nothing else, no matter how you feel about perks from like a competitive standpoint, they're going to be a lot of fun. Like I was able to play test some of the perk stuff and give some feedback early on. And some of them were really good. Some of them were really like, I know, like I know people are like, oh, Torbjorn turret, right? But the wall turrets, like stuff like this actually opens up so many things that you can do with turret, like thoughtful, like mid-fight placement stuff, which is like really, really cool. And those are the kind of perks that I want to emphasize on. What I'm planning to do is, if we end up having it on stream today, I assume we will, but I'm not sure. I'll go through each perk. We'll talk about what I like, what I don't like. We'll obviously play test, but I really want to give you guys like the full picture of like what we're like. You guys are here for a reason. You're not here just to see gameplay. We're gonna break down the theory, what is good, what is bad, what should be on paper good, what should be on paper bad. And then obviously, like, you guys are going to have to play test it and tell me what you think, really. But in terms of depth, like, this is going to add a little bit more ceiling, a little bit more depth, and a little bit more counterplay in more situations, right? Like, a different perks for different situations, right? In terms of the execution and the details of the perks, I don't really want to go into detail of that. I think you guys will see that in a little bit, so we'll kind of see how it is. But honestly, like, it's a really high-risk, high-reward choice. And I think it's going to come down to the execution, like it was with everything, like it is with every new system in this game. It just comes down to the execution. Yuzno, thank you for the sub, and Juju as well. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. Have I played Freya yet? Yes, I have played Freya. I'm not going to talk as much because I don't know if Freya is going to be available for the test today, but Freya is really fun. There's been a couple of tweaks since I play tested Freya, but she's pretty challenging. There's no real... I mean, as it is with all new heroes, she might just be overtuned, but like the actual like ceiling and floor of the character is like not easy. Like so, and I can tell you that Aqua has like a pretty creative kit. Like I think like I mean there's just more good characters, guys. Like the hero design team is like they're cooking. Like they're really cooking. It's obviously not ever going to be Rivals release schedule, but like there's some really unique ideas. Midweaver, think of the subscription, and that's all I can really say about that. So that's awesome. I think the perks are going to be like the big high risk, high reward thing. That's something that I'm going to probably analyze the crap out of moving forward, especially because it is going to be in the base game. So we're going to have to really take a careful look at how it's implemented. You know, to what scale, what's good, what's bad, what heroes work, what heroes don't work. My suspicion is that it's going to feel really good for characters that are well designed and going to feel really bad for characters that are kind of clunky, right? So we're really going to have to kind of see how that goes. Slim Shaders, think of the subscription. I know there's going to be a lot of skepticism around perks because it is a new flashy thing, but it is like one of those things where it's like it's new content and it's a new idea and they're trying out new things. So I'm always more open to that idea if there's a good reason for it, and I think there is a good reason for it. I'm going to be the first guy that's going to call it out if I think something is not implemented well, or if I think certain perks are really lazy or really not lazy, but like not well implemented, imbalanced, provide free value to the player or lazy to the player. And we'll talk about that. Like you guys are gonna know I'm gonna call a strike, I'm gonna call a ball when I see it. And so I think it's gonna be on a perk by perk basis. 6v6 ranked mode is really good. That's gonna be really good for the quality of the test. We do know that 6v6, the more time I've been spending around here and play testing and talking to people, there are a lot of 6v6ers on the team, as Aaron has said. So it's going to continue to be tested. It's going to continue to be, I mean, that's something that they're keeping a careful eye on. And I don't know what the plan is. I don't think anybody in the team right now knows like what the plan is moving forward, but they do know that they're going to continue to test and be open to the idea. I don't want to talk about the perks, how the perks are implemented. I think you'll just have to see it in game. But there's a bit of a progression system, but it's not like mobile game progression system. It's really simple, like really easy, really fast. Really doesn't like it's not disruptive in any way, shape, or form, because that was really important to me. It doesn't feel like that different. It's just Overwatch. Can I show it to us? I will in a bit. Yeah. Skin's fine. Okay, so I guess we can talk about like the rewards are sick. The rank things are sick. Like this is just a lot of this is like new stuff, but also going back to stuff that was good before, and now we're kind of going back. So it's like both a progression and a regression back to things that were good about the original game. I'm still partial to the original rank designs. I don't know if it's just associative or not, but I think they looked a lot more attractive and a lot more unique. But it's still awesome to see like having the little borders is also really cool as well. What was the question here? How do you level up over time? It's not, I think you just play the game. We'll talk about it in a little bit though. Is there a full complete MMR reset? I don't believe so. I think what was talked about in the director's take is that there were way too few people in GM as opposed to back in Overwatch 1. there's like I think 3 or 4 times harder. And so they're trying to shift the bell curve back to be a little bit more accessible. Like all the GM players on like season 9, season 10, season 8, they're all like Masters 4 now, Masters 3. Like it went from too easy to being like too hard. So that's why they're kind of doing the rank reset plus with the new changes to perks. So I'm fine with rank resets like that, as long as there's like a reason for shifting the bell curve or competitive system shift. So bans, they didn't talk about how the bans are implemented, so I'm not going to talk about that. But some of you guys are going to hate me because I did give a lot of feedback about the implementation of bans, and I was very much so in support of bans. I'm not going to say any more than that because they didn't say any more in the premiere, but I was on consultation for the implementation of the ban system. So either you're welcome or I'm sorry, depending on which side of the fence that you're on. But I can tell you that they are very sensitive to the concept of like making sure that you have control over your lobby, what's being played. And I think that's obviously like really important to the team there. So yeah. All set? I'm not sure. I can pull up BattleNet if you want me to. Here. Yeah, give me 1 second, chat. Hang on. So yeah, I don't want to talk about the implementation of bans right now. I think it's going to be well done. Big thing for me with bans was like the feeling of control in your lobby and being able to feel like you can have impact in your games, not just in terms of like a balanced state, because that's not that important, but being able to highlight and deal with problems as selective. And I also think there's a huge opportunity to know which characters are being targeted with bans, and they're going to be able to collect those stats and be able to use that information here. I don't want to talk about the implementation of bans. I really don't want to talk about the implementation of bans if it's not public knowledge, but I can tell you that every question that you have concerned about bans, about like, are they going to see your names? Are they going to see maps? Am I going to be targeted? Are they going to target me as a streamer? Are they going to know I'm a one trick and they target me? All those concerns, they are aware of them. So like, I can promise you that the system, when they announce it, will be factoring in those. So yeah, that's all I can tell you right there. So I guess we can keep going here. Cosmetic stuff, I didn't really know a lot about this, so that's really cool. It's really exciting. Very cool stuff. Freya's really fun. It's really hard. I can't talk as much about Aqua, but I think you guys will like Aqua as well. Do you know if perks will go into comp and day? I assume so, yeah. I assume so. Yeah. Perks are in the game. Like, they're in the freaking game. She's in the game. Yeah, and it's so, okay, I'll tell you this, guys. I will say this. Frey's not a one-shot character. I'll tell you this. So, like, don't worry. She's not Widow, basically. So you're not going to, like, oh, no, another sniper AFK. Like, I mean, she obviously has range to her kit, but I can tell you that much. Yeah, beyond that, I think we're gonna be play tested today. So let's talk a little bit about Stadium. So this is basically, I assume, I don't really know this, but where a lot of like the PvE assets and ideas kind of went into like a productive state. And obviously, like, I think that with the popularity of like things like Junkenstein's Revenge and so on, like they have all these cool things that people really like playing for fun. And they're using it here, and along with, I think, lessons about the value of third person in terms of flexing your skins and stuff from Rivals. It's going to be used here. And I think, like, as somebody that is a very competitive player, I mean, you guys know I was a huge fan of Junkenstein, Junkenstein's Lab. I played a lot more of it than I thought I would, just because there's so much variety and so many silly, fun things that you could do. It felt like the same thing that I enjoyed initially with Rivals and still do enjoy. A lot of people enjoy with Rivals. So people are making like the Deadlock comparison here, and I think that's kind of fair with the way it's structured. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of similar to Rivals, where it's going to be just like it's going to be a priority on fun, right? Just very fun, very silly, like crazy builds that you can do. I'm hoping it's not too much of a slog fest here. I haven't actually play tested this, but like looking at like the health pools, like damage is gonna go crazy. You guys remember how it was with Junkenstein's Lab, but I mean, there's gonna be so much more, but there's just gonna be a lot of really crazy, really weird things that you could do, I think. So I'm really looking forward to that. Gavin, are you here to talk to me?
Yeah.
All right, so you tell me, we're just going through the list of things here.
Does this work?
You should. I think you have to pop it down.
Yeah. Test. Check.
Test. Yeah. Chat. Can you hear clearly? Hang on. Let me pull up.
Should I
Chat.
actually be on camera?
Yeah.
Sure.
You showed up on stream and everybody just started swooning on the video earlier. So, so everyone was freaking out.
Hello.
So I think a crash list of what topics are available for discussion would be awesome.
I mean, the stuff I worked on is obviously where my expertise is.
Sure.
So I didn't work on Stadium. I'll say that.
Okay.
So like I can speak to it having play tested it, but like
Sure.
not as like a designer on it.
Right. Okay. So no Stadium. Bans.
Yeah, we can talk about bans.
How the implementation of bans, how it's done?
Sure, yeah. So we're building it now.
Okay.
We have been building it for quite a while, actually. But like the basics are that it's a ranked choice system. So a lot of ban systems have a turn order. So your team would take a turn, then the other enemy team would take a turn. That's how most games work.
Right.
This isn't like that. So this is you're making 3 choices. You're saying this is the hero I want to ban the most, the second most, and the third most.
And so you're choosing 3 characters. Each person chooses 3 characters on a tier list of like, this is the character I really don't want to game.
I hate Somber the most, et cetera, et cetera.
But the first one is like, I guess, prioritized.
Exactly. It's a prioritized ranked choice system.
Okay.
So what that means is it gives us extreme speed because there is no turns. There is no taking turns. Everybody does this within a period of like 20 to 30 seconds, and then we just fire it off. And then basically all the choices are made based on the votes of each team.
Right.
And the bans happen. And so we're currently thinking 4 bans in total, so 2 for each team.
Okay.
And we don't expect there to be many ties. We do have some tiebreaker conditions in the event that they happen.
Sure.
But so then we're working on a favorite hero phase 2. We're trying to make that happen.
Ooh. Okay. So like a protected hero kind of.
Not a protect. Sorry. Basically you're just choreographing to your team like.
So
hey,
telling please don't ban this.
You
I'm
can
really
say
good
that,
at this
although
character.
that is not actually protect. To be clear, so
it is not a protect, but it's like a camaraderie or collaboration potentially.
Yeah, it is
like,
an
hey,
opportunity to talk. Obviously, some people, if you tell your team you're going to play a hero that is considered very weak, then maybe they'll ban your hero to prevent you from playing it.
I get it.
But like, so that's the basics.
So the concept here is that when you say 2 per team, it means that each player is choosing 3, and then you combine all of the voting from that one team.
That's right.
And you pick the top 2 from that team.
That's right, exactly.
And then the enemy team does the same thing. And what if there is a common selection? Like what if both teams ban Widowmaker?
Yeah, that's good to bring up. So let's say, okay, so there's actually technically behind the scenes, it's going to happen instantly for the player, but there is an order of operations.
Right.
And the order of operations is whichever team voted for a hero the most. So let's say one team picks Widowmaker for all their first choices.
Right. So it gets like 25 points.
It's like
whatever.
a lot of points toward the they hate that hero the most. And then the other team is not as much of a hive mind. They disagree on that. So we would, in that case, we would say the team that all did that with Widowmaker, they're actually first technically. So they fire off first, and their 2 bans happen.
Right.
Well, actually, that's not true. It's actually more like some board game stuff you've
seen
before.
Of course.
It goes that they become the first team, and then they ban Widowmaker, and then the other team becomes the second team, and then their 2 bans happen, and then you go back to the first team.
Okay, so it's like a wrap. It's like 1, 2, 3. Then back to 4. So you'd say, okay, you guys ban Widowmaker. We go to you. Oh, you guys also ban Widowmaker. So what's your second choice?
What's your second choice? Exactly.
What's your second choice? Okay, we'll ban that. Okay, what's your third choice? Okay, we'll go back to you. Your fourth. Wait, your 4th choice is the same as their
and
third.
We could
so
get
we'll
all the way down
to
like 10th choice or something potentially.
Right.
Because like if there's like high, a big disagreement between
Can you talk to each other in voice?
Yes.
Okay, so you can collaborate with your team during the ban phase.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's great to know. So basically, all the numbers aside, the 4 most disliked characters are going to be banned, essentially. 2 for each team. There's all the fancy systems are basically there just to make it work.
To make the most votes count.
To make it consistent.
Yeah, to make it respect the most total votes.
So there's not really a gimmick to the system. There's no way to game it. You vote for who you don't want to play.
We don't think there's a way to game it. We've thought about that a lot, and it is a concern.
We'll have to test it.
We'll
have to play
it. We've done paper play tests already, actually, but but the system is still in progress.
Okay, in terms of the map, you do see the map first before you choose the man.
That's right.
But you don't see who's on the enemy team.
That's correct.
So you can't target one trick.
We are avoiding targeted bans. That's right.
Okay. So you can't go, oh, we're playing versus so-and-so. They're a Lucio one trick. We're going to ban Lucio.
Yeah.
Because I know that's a big problem in some other games.
Yeah. I mean, so some people like that. Some people don't like that. This is like a divisive topic. My take on it is, I don't know if you've ever seen this. I'm a pretty big George Carlin fan. He had this interview with Larry King where he was talking about comedy and the way that he really likes comedy that punches up at the powerful.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel about hero bands too.
Sure.
I think that hero bands should punch up at the strong things and they should not punch down.
Right.
And a lot of targeted bands would punch down. They would be like,
I'm going to ban your hero just because you play it, not because it's
Right.
strong. Or
It
even
becomes more a personal thing rather than
Right.
a competitive thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I want people to ban the strong or annoying heroes, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's why it's this way.
So when you're punching up, you're basically saying, okay, Hazard's OP, let's ban Hazard, or Widow's OP on this map, let's ban Widowmaker, or even just a personal preference. It's something that's more, I guess, for lack of a better term, objective in that regard. You got a question here?
Yeah, there's a question. What if you only choose one to ban? Then you just don't. You can do that.
So
in fact,
you don't have to choose.
You don't
the
have to
second
choose
and third.
anything. You actually
Oh,
could just choose
wow.
nothing.
Okay.
You can just lock in, and
Sure.
then your team is going to choose.
Sure.
And that means it's technically possible to ban fewer than 4 heroes, because if no one votes, if everyone were to just lock in,
There's a strategy here, because what if you go into a game and you're like, I'm an Ana player, most of the time on a map, there's not a lot of things that quote unquote counter me. I'm good at dealing with everything.
Sure.
You could use the strategy, be like, hey, I'm gonna let you guys play what you don't want
That's
to, what I
true.
want, because I'm Mr. Flexible. I can deal with any
Exactly.
threat.
If you're
and so
flexible.
you prioritize maybe the more weaker players in your team, like you got a Widow one trick,
right?
Or you didn't know that, but you like let them prioritize the bans.
And you could have asked them that, but a lot of people are just going to not
Of
say
course.
anything.
Of course, of
Or
course.
maybe they don't even know. Yeah.
Right. So if you
yeah.
you don't have to, you can actually let your teammates handle the banning if you want. If you
That's
want to let
correct.
them optimize things.
Yep, that's right.
awesome. Or if you're a one trick, obviously, like your banning matters more. So,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Now, I guess the question is why. Now, I've always been a proponent of hero bans, at least in the last several months, seeing it implemented in other games and just seeing how it adds competitive complexity at the pro level. But obviously, maybe in bronze, it's not as competitively complex because, you can play anything to get out of bronze. Okay. So then why are we implementing it? Are we implementing it at every rank?
We are.
Every
Yeah.
rank. Okay.
Yeah, we're
so
giving
then,
it to everybody in competitive.
So why? What's the psychology behind this?
Basically, we think that if you want to play the game competitively, we want to trust you with this ability to make decisions. We don't want... So, like, I guess my counter question is, like, what is the advantage to taking it away from the bronze player? Is would you say that they haven't earned it? Because, like... I think there's this sort of there's this fallacy in argument where people are like, well, they don't know what to ban. Okay,
right.
That is, it's funny to say that to me because like a lot of the time our highest ranked players also don't know what to ban.
Right.
They think the strongest thing is one thing when in reality it's another.
Right.
Right. And so like a lot of ranks are wrong about what's best. So if the highest ranked players are going to be wrong, then why not let the bronze players be wrong and make their choices? You know, because here's the thing. I've said this on your stream before, but like there are many versions of the truth. Like the bronze truth is not the same as the grandmaster truth.
True.
You know, like here's an example. On console, D.Va has a much higher win rate. And so like if you're a console player, banning D.Va is a lot more logical than it is on PC, and that's your shard, your version of the truth, and it's correct to ban D.Va in some situations on console. So like
it's a regional problem too.
It's a region. There's a region. Yeah, exactly. So that's why, by the way, we're gonna have telemetry for which heroes are banned, which region they're banned in, which platform they're banned in, which rank they're banned in. So like looking at like there are so many versions of the truth, right?
Right. It's not just competitive balance either. It's also kind of like if you are a Genji player and you really don't want to play versus Moira in your game,
right?
You have that potential.
You have that potential, and maybe it's like the fourth choice or something, but it can still totally happen.
It's still
four.
Yeah, I mean, you could reduce your chances of playing versus that character by a significant amount. If you're a Reinhardt player, and obviously Orisa we know is not really that strong, but still playing Reinhardt into Orisa is probably not the most enjoyable experience. So it's not just about competitive integrity so much as like competitive quality, enjoying what you're doing.
And it's a strategic option, right? Like it's like making the game deeper on that layer.
Sure.
Which does mean that ultimately, it's we're saying it does affect MMR, right? Because like I think we'll see situations where people ban bad heroes that are annoying. There will be people that choose to do that, and I think those people will probably drop in rank in some cases.
That's
interesting. If they consistently don't ban the strong things, and then they also don't play the strong things, but they just ban things they didn't like.
But would you prefer to be lower rank and enjoy that experience?
That's a great question. That's like a high level philosophical question, right? It's like, would it be better to be lower ranked? Yeah. Maybe it would. I think it offers a lot of options. It also offers novelty. This is one thing that I really personally didn't see when I was thinking about ban systems early on, was like the fact that it does have the potential to make games pretty different. And in a ranked choice system where there will be 4, I don't think, obviously one of the worries you have as a designer is like the same things are banned every game, and that you just create like this second order meta where it's like, okay, these 4 heroes don't exist, But I don't think that will happen in a world where, well, again, different versions of reality, different platforms.
Well, what happens is if you prioritize the second order meta kind of becomes meta.
Right.
Well, then the problem is then people also get tired of that second order meta, and
then
eventually
then
it
the first
balances
order
it
bounces
back.
back.
Right.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
end up, it's kind of forced variety whether
Right.
you want it or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think there are, I mean, from my conversations with competitive players, I really feel like that additional variety, that novelty within the context of the match is pretty valuable. So obviously, you know, we're going to be listening to player feedback, right? So like one of the great things, and another great thing about ranked choice other than speed is the fact that we can change things behind the scenes without having to rebuild the UI. So it's like, you know, you can make those choices and it's like, oh, did the first choice count for too much? Ooh, did we not like the tiebreaker condition? Ooh, you know, like all that stuff can be changed without like rebuilding the visuals.
It's the same system visually, but behind the scenes you can
we can change those rules
to fix it.
Yeah. So, you know, it'll be our, I'm excited for the rules I've written, but like, I'm sure I'll be wrong about something.
Yeah, I think you just have to test it. But I'm excited. I mean, I don't know how many of chats, I was talking about this earlier, have watched OWCS, and even though we pretty much consistently see at least one hazard ban pretty much every single map, there's still a lot of competitive variety. There's been a lot of forced innovation, is what I like to call it, where players are forced to innovate and go, oh, wow, this is actually pretty good. Like we've been seeing some Symmetra Torbjorn at the highest level of play, right? Which is really creative. I think people are also learning that Juno Lucio works really well with Hazard as opposed to just Kiriko. So there's a lot of variety, which I think is really good. Chat, do you have any major questions that haven't been addressed here?
There's a good point here. Some characters are going to be banned based on map alone, and that's a reason why we're showing the map, right? Like it's just a fact of Overwatch that hero win rates are basically plus or minus 10% based on the map, which is massive.
Yeah.
It's a massive swing. It's like picking the right hero in the right location is a really, really big deal.
I think people are going to learn that, and I actually think that's really good for the community because I think a lot of our perceptions about counterpicking, even the tank problem of counterpicking, were heavily swayed by a lack of understanding of map priority and how, you can't play Winston or Roadhog, but it's Gibraltar. Yes, you can, right? And so people are going to realize, wow, every time I ban this character in this map, like if I think about, we were to ban Widow, whatever, on Junkertown, Ashe on Junkertown, I think about the number of DPS characters that all of a sudden become viable.
Sure.
Like you're
changes the whole
amount of characters that you can play on that map. So not that Widow would get banned on that map every time, but if she does, now all of a sudden you can run the entire cast, right? Which is, I mean, that's such a nice breath of fresh air, I think.
I should mention another thing. Sorry,
please.
I forgot to mention. We're currently thinking we're only banning 2 of a role per phase.
So max 2. You can't ban
4 tanks is not an option. Even though I think that would happen if we didn't have that special rule.
Yeah.
But that's again one of those rules that could change over time. Maybe players tell us we do want to be able to ban 4 tanks, but the thing we worry about with that is banning out someone completely. Like you know, we don't want a situation, and that's my biggest worry about it in like the lower ranks is like the lower the rank, generally the fewer the heroes are played, you know, by an individual player. So you know, as rank increases, the number of heroes that they play goes up quite a lot because swapping is so powerful, you know. So
so you don't want to have like Roadhog is banned, Orisa's banned, Wrecking Ball's banned, Zarya's banned, and this guy's like, what do I play?
Yeah, and
like,
I mean, you look at our support and tank cast. If you ban 4 of them, you've taken a major chunk out of both of those lineups. You know, So that's why we're currently thinking 2 max per role.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so basically, most banned tank, second most banned tank, and then if the next is tank, then we're going to skip to the next DPS or support essentially.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so there's some limitations.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other questions in here with bans that we haven't discussed about. Are
bans selected per sub-level or control of the map overall? So like in control, it would be just for the map.
Just for the entire map.
There's not like a separate ban phase.
Makes sense. That would be tedious, I feel.
Yeah. I'm going to stay banning Sombra. I'm sure you will not be alone.
Yes. What if every single player picks a different hero to ban? That would be like astronomically unlikely. But
then we'd have to go to the tiebreakers. Yeah, this person asked if only tanks are banned, then would the other team get no bans? So what would happen is if only tanks are banned, the first team with the most tank bans would get their ban, and then the second team would get their ban.
So it'd be total 2.
There would be 2, and then no other bans would occur. That's
but again,
right. So
very
you would
unlikely.
have banned 2 in that case.
That would be a coordination of what, 30 bans essentially.
Yeah, it'd be
that would be impressive.
It would be a weird outlier, but it will happen. I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm going to be super interested to see how many no ban games we get.
Yeah.
Because everybody would have to choose nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like that's going to be incredibly unlikely.
I doubt it'll ever happen, but it is funny to imagine.
Yeah, the other stuff I think we've already answered before here. Yeah, so you will not see the enemy team. You will know the map.
How many total hero bans for? Can both teams
4
ban
for
the same
total,
heroes?
3
No,
per
they can't
person.
because we would skip the ban on the team that banned it the last times, and so they would fall back to their next most ban.
I guess we could talk a little bit about competitive rewards because that was one of the ones that surprised me.
Yeah.
Not just the rewards, but also the visuals as well. Like we're bringing back in part the Overwatch 1 UI. Having the rank logos, had to rebuild it, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like people were like, man, why did this go? But hey, we're glad to have it back.
Yeah. And the answer why it went is because we had to rebuild it because when we moved to the new engine.
Makes sense. Okay, so
it all had to be remade.
What is your motivation for doing something like this? Maybe I feel like I'm milking the question here. What feels like it's good. Why not? But
yeah, I mean, this is like for people that want to show off. You know, it's for our streamers, people that are like, you know, they've had to use these scuffed rank overlay things for so long. I feel so bad about that. It's just that there were so many things to build, and this one was not at the top of the list. So, but no, I think we're excited to bring them back. You know, obviously you can see the divisions are kind of called out here as well through the wings. You know, for a top 500, it'll show their actual top 500 number. So if they're like number 34, then it'll show 34 there. It's mostly about sharing gameplay. It's mostly because, like, you know, we live in a world where things are clipped and things are shared, and it's like, you know. Also there will. I don't know if it's like working immediately. We've been trying to make sure, but there will be a streamer mode setting to turn it off if you want. But,
so you don't have to have it.
You
on
don't have to. You don't have to have it
cool.
on if you're trying to stay incognito. But I'm not sure that comes out the moment it comes out. It might be like slightly after.
Love the charms, by the way, as well. Charms are sick.
Yeah, the charms are something I've wanted to do for so long, and our rewards pillar really helped us out with this because this is the sort of thing we generally don't build on core gameplay. So they really saved our. Saved our butts here.
Now, this is an interesting one for me. I'm trying to find the little logo here. So I feel like part of this may have coincided with perks just because there's going to be so much more information available. But I'm super thankful for this one. And you said this was your number one.
This was the thing. So it was about 4 years ago now that I was hired. And I got to the team and I was like, can I build this? And they were like, maybe someday. You know? And to be clear, I am still building it. It's not done yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stats to be accrued.
Oh, God, you're telling me.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah.
How is this going to, do you have any plans about how this is going to be available? Is this going to be an in-game menu?
Yeah. So you open the F1 screen, you press middle mouse just like you do to activate the interactive scoreboard.
Yes.
And then you hover charge in this case, and then this thing pops. So like you just basically, it's like an advanced version of the hero information screen we already have.
Awesome. So just more in detail information. Is there like an ETA about when you think that will probably start to be implemented?
The guy working on it keeps like appearing on creator streams, so he is.
If he stops showing up in Twitch chats, maybe he could actually get it done.
Yeah. So I don't want to say it because I'm afraid I'll be wrong.
All right.
But I mean, it'll definitely
is
be
it a
this
year starting in 2020?
It'll definitely be this year.
Okay, this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it happen this year. I'm gonna fight. I mean, even if it means I have to stay up late a lot. But,
yeah. That's
because
okay.
I want to do this. It's just that, you know, there's so many things.
Sure. You know, I believe it. I don't know how much you had to do with loot boxes.
I didn't actually have anything to do with loot boxes, although I did say it, didn't I?
Yeah.
So the systems team that I work on, my teammates on the rewards pillar, built this system, and so I know a little bit about it.
Sure.
They rebuilt the system, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But I can speak to it a little if they have questions. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, my question was just like, why? I mean, just because people wanted it?
Yeah, basically because the internet asked for it like a million times.
Sure. Well, there you go, Chad.
You notice it's not.
If you cry loud enough, stuff happens.
You notice it's not being sold in America at this time. You know, it's purely just a reward system to just feel good, and it's like it's like everything in the shop except the current shop season.
Right.
So it's like there are so many cool things in it because we've made a ton of cool shop skins. So it's probably got stuff everyone doesn't have. Also, it doesn't do dupes anymore, which is pretty neat.
Oh, nice. So just not new stuff or currency, I assume, or whatever else.
Actually, not even currency. My understanding, and like this, I assume this could change, but like my understanding is that if you would get a dupe, it just re-rolls it and it's just something else.
Okay, cool.
And then if you, for some reason, owned everything in the pool, if you're a true whale, then then it would just give you coins for another loot box. You can just buy. You can just
I see. So you could save it for future when you don't
loot
own
boxes
everything.
all the way down. So basically, you should stop opening them when you've exhausted the pool.
Right.
But that's
you're not going to waste it necessarily.
No, it's not really wasted.
Okay, sick. Any other system that you were part of or any other topic you want to talk about? Because I'm all excited for this. Obviously, you talked about, I don't know how much you know about the bell curve reset. So we talked about the rank reset.
Yep.
I'm Mr. Rank Reset hater, but this time
Sure.
around, it seems like it's to
We're doing
address
the
the
thing
fact
you were doing the thing that you accept it for, which
right,
is
which
we
is
are
there's
actually changing.
not enough GM players, basically.
So what we're doing is more players in Masters, Grandmaster, and Champion. So
Right.
it's like a retuning, which I don't know if I've said this on the stream before, but these resets are the only time, from a technical standpoint, that we can change that. We
Right.
cannot just like rebalance
Let it
the
go.
curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like actually technically not possible. behind
Right.
the scenes.
Makes sense.
So that's one thing we're doing here, and then of course perks, and this is like part of my reasoning is like that if we make a really big gameplay change, then that does kind of redefine skill. It redefines
Sure.
MMR. So like I just watch playtests, and like there are people on the team that sometimes people forget to even unlock the perk. Like and we're trying to make it obvious. It like dings at you, it clicks, it flashes,
It
but
electrocutes you through your
But
mouse.
I mean, Overwatch is there could be some stuff happening on your screen, so like it is possible that you being shot by a lot of people is distracting
I mean,
you from
bronze players don't even press Q, so I think that you're using a perk might even be a little bit lower priority.
Yeah, so maybe we should just get bigger and bigger until like,
you can't see anything. Hey, idiot, use the perk, please.
You actually
Come
can't
on.
do anything but click
Oh
the
my
perk.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's wild. That's wild. Well, it's
Can
gonna
you
be
see other
exciting.
people's perks? Yes, you can. That is a
Okay,
thing
so you
added.
can
Yes,
see
you
other
can.
people's perks.
Yes,
Now, how is that?
It's
through
part of the
tab,
scoreboard, basically.
Scoreboard.
Yeah,
Okay, essentially.
if I remember correctly, I haven't worked on that myself, but like there's like a new place for icons there along the scoreboard.
Okay, I know I talked with Megan about this, but I'm gonna try and get like a full perk list when the play testing actually goes live here,
Mhm.
or I guess it maybe is live, but so that we can actually like not just demonstrate, but actually like just my chat, like we're gonna go through a freaking Excel spreadsheet and talk about each one. So
Yeah. I'm looking forward to your rankings because I've given some of my own rankings internally. So
we talked about. We'll talk maybe a bit more of our criteria of like what I'll look for.
Perk list is on Twitter. I think somebody like Everson or somebody made
perk
like
list
a
is on
complete
Twitter. Okay,
list
great.
somewhere.
Well, then there you go. We'll do that. I'm trying to find it on here.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. Now, I guess the last thing with the rank reset in terms of like that bell curve discrepancy, Morgan shared bar graph a while back,
Right.
and it
The
was
actual
GM was
distribution.
minute, like it was
Yeah.
tiny
Yep.
compared to even Overwatch 1.
Yes.
How much of a shift, like I guess in terms of approximation, are we looking at here? Kind of a ballpark.
Maybe double.
Double.
Maybe.
So basically, right now you could be Masters 3, and you're going to be Grandmaster now.
Maybe, yeah.
Something
Because like
that.
the top ranks are, I don't know the exact math. I'm sorry, I'm not going to try to quote that. But
Yeah.
like the fact is just that the top ranks are an incredibly small percentage, and that was initially on purpose. But
Right.
then we realized that like
I think it's 4 times harder to reach Grandmaster now than it was in Overwatch 1.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
did like they measured out the bar graph and they did the breakdown, and I was like
Yeah.
0.25 or 0.3 or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh.
The one I personally don't predict will change very much is Champion, even though we made it easier.
Yeah.
Basically, the problem with Champion is queue time. So like people run into the few people that are that high rank for real, they get so far. They're such an outlier on the bell curve that like basically what's happening when the matchmaker starts looking for them is it starts expanding outward from their position.
Right.
But there's nobody
There's
in
no
either direction.
ceiling, yeah.
Yeah. Like because like over here is the bell curve, right? But like
Right.
it's like.
It's still there's still nobody there.
They're still searching, right?
Right,
And so
right.
like it because that search is so long, they often just have an alt or something. Like
Right.
they don't put up with it.
I was talking with Rack about that
Exactly,
earlier, and it's
Rack
like at a
has that
certain point,
problem.
it's like min-maxing isn't worth it for me.
Yep, and that is a problem we definitely need to solve. I don't have a timeline on that, but like
Yeah.
it's, there are a lot of
It's a small minority of players, but those players are also the ones with. I mean, Chad, if you're going to watch somebody play, you're going to watch Rack Attack, right? You're not going to watch me play Lucio. So if the top players can't get into a game because it gets to an extreme amount, then it's not as enjoyable.
They're literally too good.
They're literally too good,
Yeah,
right?
so-
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a problem that still needs to be solved, and that's why I predict that even though we made Champion easier, I don't know if we will even have that many more champions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it will change
Yeah.
that much.
It's tough.
I do think it'll change Master and Grandmaster.
Okay, good to know.
So,
good to know. Good
but
to know.
we'll see. I mean, it's obviously these are things we can run simulations, but those simulations don't account for playtime very well, like because they have to make big assumptions about how many matches are actually
Just
played.
have bots and competitive, Gavin.
Just have bots and
Just
competitive.
have bots. I mean,
yeah.
it's really worked well in other games, I hear. So I think this is just such an easy solution.
I don't think even they have a big competitive. But yeah. So.
Oh my gosh! Are you saying that I can get Grandmaster this season finally?
Maybe, yeah.
You're
Definitely,
right,
actually.
right. You could just baby my
Because
my
you said
cues.
can get Grandmaster, I could nod along with that. You can, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Any other questions, chat, for systems or any of that fun stuff here? Jacob has been asking: is 66 later
I'm
in
trying to get Dev to
OWCS?
say perks are in ranked. Yes, they are.
Perks are in ranked. Yes. I don't know about 66 in OWCS.
I don't know a lot about that either.
So. Yeah, that question's been asked like 50 times, so I think at some point, cry enough, I have to...
Am I hydrated? I have something that someone handed me. It was funny. They came in, they're like, "Oh, have a drink," and I opened it, and it just exploded on the floor out there.
Oh gosh!
I was set up.
Dang it, dude. How are perks with swapping? I don't know if that's going to be demonstrated
that's a good
later.
question. Yeah, so perks with swapping. This is actually a better question for Alec, but I medium understand how this works.
Okay.
Which
medium understand.
Yeah. So basically, when you swap, you keep the levels on the hero you swapped from. So like they don't go away. So if you have Sojourn at level 3, you can go back to Sojourn at level 3.
Oh, so once you've swapped off of Sojourn, anytime you go back to the original character, you've maintained your progress.
You maintain the level, if I remember correctly. And then you start at like half or level 1 or something. Like basically you start with the minor if you were maxed.
Yeah, okay.
So there's like some percentage of carryover.
It's like a 50% carryover.
Right, yeah, it's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry,
Makes
I don't
sense.
know the exact
No, that's
mechanic.
fine. That's totally fine.
And then you can max that character out and swap off of it too, theoretically. So like there will be acceleration. Also, I don't think they've said this, but basically like the rate that perk XP is gained increases over the course of the match. So if you swapping becomes more and more viable to get to the higher ranks of it.
It probably feels more like a catch-up mechanic where if you had a really bad start, you're not like, I think that was one of our initial concerns with feedback, where if you get to a perk first because you're dominating the match, it just snowballs the rest of the match and gets really ugly. But with that catch-up mechanic, not only are you potentially allowing for more swaps later, but also if you had a really bad start, eventually everyone's going to be kind of playing at the same level.
Right. They asked, wait, what was this? Can you change perks after you select them? As far as I know, no. I don't think so.
Okay, so you're locked in.
That's locked in. Now, there is the competitive thing, which they're kind of hinting at in the chat here as well, which is like if you're in competitive, you play that first round and you level up your perks, then you swap and then you can level them again. But then on the third round, if you make it to round 3 in an asymmetric mode, then you are just maxed on everything. So on that third round, any hero you pick is at max.
In King of the Hill?
Oh, sorry. I was talking about like hybrid and like, so, you know, when you're playing competitive play and you're like, you push all the way into the map and then they push all the way into the map.
So
now,
OT.
Yeah. When you get to that, it's not exactly OT, right? It's like round 3 essentially of a competitive match.
Right.
Like, sorry, I wasn't talking about control. I actually I think in control, I don't know how control, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
This is hero
That's
design
fine.
stuff.
That's
They decided this, but like it might just keep going up in control.
So it gets to a point to where like you can swap and you can just perk up.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, in that round 3 of hybrid or round 3 of escort, you're maxed on everything.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any other big questions, chat? I'll try to keep things focused on the stuff that you worked with or won't be addressed later.
Does it encourage round 3 cheese comps? I don't know. I mean, it certainly changes the texture of round 3 because now everything is like in overdrive. You know, maybe you didn't even, let's say you didn't even play Diva.
Map bans. We'll talk about that in a second.
Sure. Well, it's not really bans, it's voting, but yeah.
Map voting. Sure.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
I know that's like still a little bit
that
of ways.
One is further out, so I'll talk about it in the context of this is probably what we're going to do. But,
sure.
Because we're still, we've been building this one for a long time, actually. But the basic idea is that we will show you 3 maps. Those 3 maps are selected from the following logic. So today, when you play a map in Overwatch, we look at all 10 players in the match, and we say, what is their least played map right now? And then yeah, basically.
Wait, so you're not, there's no roll of the dice now. You're basically
well, that's how Overwatch has worked for many years, actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's looking for everybody's least played map.
It's forced probability, basically.
It's forced probability. It's forced variety.
Yeah, beautiful.
So some other games do true random, and I think that doesn't work as well.
Yeah. Five maps, same map 5 times in a row.
Nobody knows what game I'm talking about.
It's a mystery.
Anyway, so that forced probability. So we're going to show you 3 maps, and 2 of them will be from that bottom 2 for everybody, and then the third one will be true random. And so the third one means that there would be, and we're not planning to like call those out visually. It'll just so we keep the system of like offering you things you haven't played recently.
Wow.
But then we also inject a little bit of opportunity for those maps that are really popular. So when King's Row is the random third, there's a pretty good chance it'll be King's Row, I think. You know, and so like what that does is it means that we get to see from data, and this is one of the biggest reasons to do map voting, by the way, is to like see which maps people actually like.
Yeah.
You know, like
Same thing with the bands, really.
Yeah, because up until now with maps, we've really just relied entirely on community feedback about like trying to listen,
like people screaming and ranting
exactly.
about glass and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's this crazy people that hate glass way more than you'd think. No, I agree, the glass sucked. But so anyway, we'll see based on the pick rates there, and so basically you're just voting for it. Then the next thing we're considering, which is not locked in, but we really like the idea of, is so let's say the 3 maps are Kings Row, Ilios, and Havana, right? Okay, so then the votes happen. The 10 players vote, and so let's say 7 players vote for Kings Row, 2 players vote for Ilios, and 1 player votes for Havana, right? So that's the distribution. Now we basically roll a D10, and each of those results is the one that, when we land on a result there, we pick one of those votes. So we're not doing it in the hero bands way. There is a little bit of randomness here.
Okay.
So that means if one person picked Havana, there is a 10% chance in that case.
So with bands, it's like what you get what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what you want.
Exactly
with
what you
maps,
want.
it's like, yeah, you've increased the probability. So why the difference between the two?
Yeah, because we don't want maps to never be played.
Okay.
If anybody wants to play them. Now, obviously, if literally nobody ever wants to play Havana, they will never play it again.
Sure,
because it's not even rolled on the die.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So, but if anybody wants to play it, we want to keep that small chance that it can still happen, because we think players will sort of choke themselves to death with a lack of variety sometimes. Basically, they'll make choices that like remove that map forever.
Right, and because there's probably a little less map variety than there is hero variety as well, in terms of just quantity, I believe.
And also, it affects balance too, right? Because like, you know, if Ivana's never played, Widowmaker is a weaker character.
Yeah.
Right. So like that is a thing that is going to happen. Like it is going to affect balance because because the map pick rates will not be static like they were in the past.
That makes sense.
It's
just going to be done, I assume, like prior to even queuing in, prior to hero bands as well. Like, will that be the first thing done?
Yes, that's correct. So that map has you queue, the match loads, you hit map voting. Then you hit hero band. Oh yeah, sorry.
This is the map.
Yeah, this is the map.
Hero bands.
This is and sorry to be clear about hero bands. One of the reasons we wanted it to be so fast, one of the reasons we went with ranked choice, is because we knew we were going to build map voting as well.
Right.
And so this could become a lot, right? Like it could become unwieldy.
Well, I wonder how much of it, like if you talk about like the hero select screen in Overwatch, there is, I don't know the exact timer for each map, but it's a long time. It's like 45 seconds.
Yeah, and you could
probably
cut
subtract
some of that
a little
time.
bit, because it's going to be like, hey, you're in the queue, like it gives you a fair warning, but that starts now
and you've
with
known
a map
what the map was going to be for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're right. That's a great point. Anyway, so the map's selected by a vote of all the players. We're not going to call out which specific player voted. We are going to call out that players voted.
Sure.
And then on the hello.
Hey,
we
interrupt in the middle of stuff. So
we're almost done.
jump out when you're done. But like,
Okay.
Like 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, and so then the hero bands, and obviously you'll make the choice. You'll be with your team. You'll communicate with them, and we'll fire that off, and then we'll load into the map. Well, versus screen. Sorry. Well, actually, the versus screen kind of like shows the hero bands first. It's like these are the heroes band. Then we were showing both teams, and then now we're in the match.
And the rank logos too.
Yes.
In theory.
In theory. We didn't actually announce that in versus yet.
Okay, because I mean it makes sense because we know they're there. So I'm hoping that happens, because that was the original part of the hype. Is you go, oh my gosh, there's a top 500 player on the other team, and the level of excitement there.
And you noticed in the video I said we'd like to do more of that sort of thing in the future, which is about as far as I can say on that.
Okay. I'm predicting. You guys will have to wait and see. There's no confirmation yet. I'm for me, selfishly, the reason why I'm excited about this is I'm just fascinated by like ban rates. I would love to know which maps are picked the most.
We'll be looking
I mean, I try to do little statistics and little polls within my community, but it's like obviously it's such a tiny subset. So I know I've talked with you about this, but I am going to beg and plead for public stats with hero pick rates, ban rates, map pick rates. It's going to be fascinating to me. I'm going to make like 7 million videos discussing it, discussing the merits.
I love those ideas.
I think that would be so much fun to talk about and just to see for us nerds out there. Can
you rebound the perk choice key? I know they were working on that. I think you can.
Surely.
Yeah, surely. I think you can.
Yeah. Just bind it to Q so you accidentally keep pressing at the worst possible time. A chance to not have person ranked, you guys. So
that is definitely Alex's choice, but I believe that is currently the plan.
Yeah. Okay. Netflix show win, Gavin. This is your category.
Yeah,
you're,
man.
You're the content leader, you work.
A content leader. That's an interesting title. Yeah.
I hear it's going to be a 50-part miniseries.
It's really funny to imagine me knowing anything about television. It's like you know somebody that works on a submarine, and you're like, hey, have you ever been to space? It's kind of like it's like similar to water, right? Like it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How does the level up system work? Do players get reward for stat farming? That's a really good question for perks specifically. Like, how are perks?
Oh, so
leveling
sorry.
up?
Yeah, basically it's damage and healing, just like ult charge.
Damage and healing
scenes.
for ult charge.
But there are some little nuanced things that I would have to have Alec explain. But like for example, the rate that you gain it has a multiplier on time. So like early in the match, it's like a very like 1-to-1, I believe.
Right,
But like as time passes, the passive rate goes up.
That would be one where you would probably just have to adjust the multiplier on an individual hero basis. And I can see the concern there where it's like, okay, it's a similar reason why I hate performance-based MMR.
Sure.
Performance-based perk system, you got characters like, I don't know, Tracer or Doomfist. People,
Right.
high deaths, high reward, not necessarily the highest damage.
Yeah.
And so, we want to make sure that those players are scaling appropriately.
Yep.
And I think that would reflect in win rates even.
Probably.
And so you'd have to be really careful with that. And we'll talk about that, I think, when we break down
I'm pretty
perks.
sure they have the ability to tune heroes individually.
Okay.
On the
Yeah,
rate of game.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
because that's going to be a big one.
Not totally sure on that, but.
Yeah, for me, it's always going to be with perks. It's just going to be about the execution. And I have like a trillion. I was sitting on the plane, writing all my thoughts, all my notes. What are some questions? And so we'll talk with Alec about that, hopefully at some point.
PvE questions, I know nothing about that, Chad. I'm sorry. I've always been a PvP designer, really, and apologies.
Yeah, it's fine. Healing received stat. I don't know
Healing
why that
received
question's highlighted, but
yeah,
that's weird.
I mean, we've thought about it. The problem is the scoreboard is already. I mean, with
Super
perks on
toxic.
it too, it's toxic, but it's already overflowing with data.
Yeah.
It's already like hard to read. I'm not against it really.
Yeah.
But we'd have to find time to rework the scoreboard.
I'm actually like, I'm super for public stats for pick rates and win rates, but I'm actually so on the fence with like
scoreboard in general.
Yeah,
like,
the
scoreboard.
because it's definitely one of those weapons that not every player is responsible with wielding, and it's
Right.
really used for. It's just not used strategically almost ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and it leads. It's such a trap for people.
It is
a lot of the time.
It is.
Yeah.
It encourages. It can compromise even your enjoyment of the game.
Yep,
In a lot of
it
ways.
can. And I'll admit I don't really know what to do about that.
I don't either.
It's kind of a Pandora's box, and we kind of opened it, And
take it away, and people are not
right.
gonna be
Exactly.
happy.
We can't really close it. We could not open it further.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the right choice is there exactly.
Yeah. Gavin, can we have an option to hide our scoreboard?
Hide your scoreboard?
That would be interesting.
That is.
That's like you know what? Remember I don't remember if you've heard the thing where people were like asking to hide their rank.
Yeah.
But that seems like a more in-depth.
Yeah, I think that like is if you
Feels pretty
could,
niche.
then you would always, because you would be able to hide like people. You wouldn't be able to track
Unbind
as
tab.
easily.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't think we could do
card system, the old Overwatch 1 card system.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah. People talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's. I look at like the rank icons and I'm like, I think that's just objectively awesome.
Yeah.
Cards is situationally awesome, because I think like you even see this in Rivals. Like people just skip.
Somebody's asking about FOV on console. I don't know about that, but I've asked about it before, and I believe it's a technical problem, and I don't know why that is the case. Sorry. I'm
That's fine.
not an
Totally
expert
fine.
there. I would love to. So the cards, like we definitely saw people interact with those a lot less frequently over time as time passed, but it was a beloved feature, and we are not working on it right now. But I think it would be a cool thing to do again someday in a reframing,
I think if you guys put more emphasis on weird stats,
sure,
like 40% sleep dart accuracy, or like 15 sleeps, or like Reinhardt, how many pins did you land? Like, is it an extraordinary amount of pins compared to the level? Like, you'd have to get in the weeds with it, but like not just most damage, most objective time. Like just something a little bit more fun, because those are the cards that people are going to screenshot and share with their friends.
Quaked on profile hovering. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what favorite heroes for in the bans phase a little bit. Yeah, like to be able to show. Yeah, profile hovering. I agree, that was pretty cool too. I mean, I'd want people to be able to opt into it because I don't want. But with the cards, I think the way that the cards kind of failed in the past was that they didn't. they didn't try to show for everyone. I would like to try to show people something they did well at the end of the match.
Sure.
I would like to say, hey, you did this one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming you weren't throwing. Obviously.
Under 25 deaths. Congratulations.
Yeah, that'd be a great April Fool's one, wouldn't it? Just, But I would like to frame it in such a way that it's like trying to show you something positive about how the game went. But yeah, I don't know. That's not.
Jol of Red's talking about basically like end of game conversations as well.
True.
I think the key thing with cards is if it is skippable quickly, then there's no harm done. No harm done. But if you want to use it, it doesn't. Right, knock yourself out. So,
as soon as we do a little bit more,
it's free real estate as long as I'm not the one developing it. That's the idea.
Sure, I got you.
I don't have to put the work in, so you should just do it.
Yeah,
Easy.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I feel like
head out then.
All right, Gavin.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Okay,
chat.
Good talking.
Say thank you to Gavin. As always, appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Can't monopolize you too much. You got to go spill your water on yourself somewhere else.
Yeah. This water isn't going to spill itself.
Cheers. Have a good one, mate. All right, chat, that was Gavin, the systems designer for Overwatch. So anything that you hate, he's definitely responsible. So